In our Driving Change series tonight, we're taking a closer look at how Colorado funds its roads and why we've fallen so far behind on building for the growing population.
News 5's Andy Cohen heard a variety of perspectives about the history of transportation funding. He joins us now with this special report.
Hey, Robin Elizabeth, the state is failing to spend enough money to build our highway infrastructure enough to meet the pace of our growing population. In fact, about half of CDOT's annual budget is usually spent just maintaining our existing highways. It's all led to that $9 billion backlog of expansion projects that at this point would only get us a highway system for our current population. The biggest source of money for roads is still the gas tax. 65 cents out of every dollar CDOT spends is paid by drivers at the pump. Another 21 cents comes from our vehicle registration fees.
It's a mechanism that's served us well over time, but for a lot of reasons it is becoming outdated.
Outdated because the gas tax is a fixed amount. We've consistently paid 40 cents per gallon ever since the final season of The Cosby Show.
Imagine trying to pay your mortgage today with your paycheck you had back in 1992. That's basically what we're looking at with the HUTF fund and the fuel tax that flows into it at the state level.
On top of that, cars are more fuel efficient today, so we buy gas less often. And 3 decades worth of inflation have just about tripled the cost per mile to build a road. During the late 90s and early 2000s, state lawmakers boosted highway funding by directing a percentage of state sales tax to roads in an amount equivalent to the share brought in from new car sales. They also squirreled away 2/3 of any surplus for roads. Those measures were quickly repealed during the Great Recession, and they haven't been replaced.
The state is not prioritizing road spending. It's just that simple.
John Caldera, who championed the Fix Our Damn Roads ballot question, points out lawmakers today resist new efforts to spend state sales and income taxes on roads.
They certainly have the money. They have the money to put 1 out of every 4 Coloradans on Obamacare. They have the money to pour into education in unprecedented amounts. Every single budget item in the state is growing, but not for roads.
In recent sessions, lawmakers have redirected hundreds of millions from the general fund to roads, but it's not a permanent source of funding. CDOT Director Shoshana Liu points out that even with the extra money, the scale of our need is much higher.
We just have to prioritize resources, just like we prioritize resources in our own budgets at home.
So she sees the expansion of US 36, which has a managed toll lane like the Gap will, as a successful system for designing highways when both money and land are scarce.
It's one of the few arteries where we've seen congestion go down. And part of the reason for that is that the new lane that we added is a managed lane. It's one that gives drivers the opportunity when they need it and when they want it to have that accelerated service. But it's also a lane that serves one of the most effective bus services in the state.
But efficiency alone won't be enough to keep up with our growing population.
Our revenue forecast shows that we can only generate a little more than half of what we actually need over the next 25 years.
Andy Gunning from the Pikes Peak Area Council of Governments thinks that recent statewide ballot questions looking for transportation money failed because of a lack of trust. After all, voters in the Springs passed and reapproved the 1% PPRTA sales tax and then passed the 2C street paving sales tax. That money has built scores of major projects like West Colorado Avenue and the redesigned Woodman and Union interchange.
Our success here throughout our region has been that we tell voters what they're going to get, that we're going to improve this roadway basically from here to there. And we stick with it.
Because there's more at stake than just traffic congestion if we fail to build our highway infrastructure.
There needs to be, I think, more community and more statewide recognition and buy-in that it's about quality of life. This is about our economic vitality as a state and a region.
Always watching out for you, Colorado. Andy Cohen, News 5. Allison?